Check, testing 1, 2.
Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you.
Check, testing 1, 2.
These looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy. The trailer park is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games, pickup trucks. I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. This is the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, episode number 131 for March 12th, 2021. The Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, the podcast that was feuding with the royal family before it ever became popular. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It is great to have you here. We have a lot of stuff to get through, so we will waste no time. But it is not a waste of time to thank the incredible patrons who make this show and the other shows from Saturday Morning Media possible. Huge shout out to them. Thank you for all the support that they give me and the shows from Saturday Morning Media. If you'd like to become a patron, check out patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. Did you know that the patrons from Saturday Morning Media get the audio version of this podcast before it is released to the public? So if you would like things a little sooner, then that's what you do. Of course, you're listening to it live right now if you're watching the YouTube channel. So we have a bunch of news. Let's get into the news. Lots of Filsinger games. We're deep in the middle of teaser season, which I guess is a phrase that some folks say I coined. I don't know if I coined that, but I certainly enjoy it. And we are going to start with Champions of the Galaxy and the War Games 2091 Reimagined set. Now, I don't want to get too much into this, but there was some hubbub this week when the artwork for this new character, or not new character, but reimagined character went up on the boards. There was some hubbub about it, and the corrected artwork is up on the website now, and I will probably get into a ton of trouble for doing this, but if you're watching the YouTube video, I'm going to show the art that was posted, and so you can see it. And I don't know, I'm just going to show it right now. As you can see, Werner must have listened to Uncharted Territory and heard Chuck Carter say that he based the original Mayhem artwork on Jay Leno. And in this first artwork, he really laid into that Jay Leno stuff. But I guess this is not the artwork that is going to be used for the final thing, because the corrected artwork was posted. And there you have it. There is your reimagined Mayhem, looking awesome there. And the little blurb says, Spike may have defected to the Defenders of the Galaxy, but Brute and Massacre were prepared. Here comes Mayhem. Reckless and risky, this former Aethran soldier is ready to put it all on the line to hurt Spike, or anyone for that matter, and he doesn't care if it means adding a few scars to his own body in the process. Mayhem brings two finishers to the table. His leap of doom is something that has to be seen to believed. Promoters will want to book matches with this hardcore competitor right away. So there is the reimagined Mayhem, and looking great, looking awesome. Super excited to get him in the set. And there you go. That is the news for Champions of the Galaxy. Now, I will have a word on Champions of the Galaxy Prime in just a moment. But we're not done with Champions of the Galaxy news, because you know what? We're in March, and just a few months away in July, we're going to get ourselves a brand new Champions of the Galaxy edition. And Tom had an interesting tweet this week that I thought was newsworthy. 51 game editions in, and it's still as exciting as the first time writing and creating the new expansion pack. Wrote 4,000 words today for the next Champions of the Galaxy Origins 2137 handbook. Major story arc, plot points first, and then the trees. Very exciting. So Tom is hard at work. I mean, we knew this, but Tom is hard at work on the next game edition, and super excited to see that, because you know I'm a huge Champions of the Galaxy Prime fan. So super excited that is coming. Moving on to independent wrestling, and the IWTV Indie expansion set announced was Daniel Garcia, the current C4 champion. Daniel Garcia is the next name in the IWTV Indies expansion. A true student of the game and believer that hard work will pay off, Garcia also brings a liberal dose of bad attitude to the ring. Red Death has made it clear that he will not rest until he is the best wrestler in the world, and at his age, with his determination and already substantial skill set, he might just make good on that desire sooner rather than later. So there you go. Daniel Garcia announced for the set, the C4 champion. I personally am not familiar with him. I do like that background, though. That background is cool. I don't know if that is maybe his logo that they lent to Werner for Werner to use, but it's just a cool, it looks like he's standing in front of a flag or something like that has the logo on it. So really awesome. Daniel Garcia announced. Again, I will have news about all the Promoter Prime stuff in just a moment, but we are going to move on to Legends of Wrestling and Legends Expansion 7. It's so close. It's almost here, and the big release tonight was Evan Strangler Lewis. That's right, Evan Lewis is the next pioneer added to Legends Expansion 7. The original holder of the Strangler moniker, Lewis was the first to perfect the stranglehold, modernly known as the Sleeper. He is also recognized as the first American heavyweight champion. Lewis was known as a brutal competitor and engaged in multiple bone-breaking, bloody bouts, toppling opponent after opponent and laying claim to one of his time's best wrestlers. He needs to get into a match with Mayhem. They need to step into the ring together. So there you go. Evan Strangler Lewis announced. We got one more name left, but we are going to be taking a week next week to look at the Promoter Prime stuff. Next week, we will get teasers for Promoter Prime, and we will learn out more of the cards that will be released for Champions of the Galaxy Prime, Indies Prime, and Legends Prime. So that is all coming next week, according to Tournament Master on the Filsinger Games message boards. Tournament Master also said that the games will ship at the very end of March. So by the end of March, we will know all the competitors, or all the athletes that are in Legend 7, and then the games will ship at the end of March. So very exciting for all that. For all the latest news, to pre-order all this stuff, to check out what's coming out, you can go over to filsingergames.com. That is the place. That's where I go to get news stories for this podcast. So it should be bookmarked. You should be visiting it daily. That's what you should be doing. Moving on to the match of the show. Now, as you know, if you know about this, last week we had a brand new champion in Randy Macho Man Savage, but I wanted to start by looking at the singles rankings. As of tonight, Randy Savage is the new champ, but he's actually ranked number 4 because he's just 1-0. Incubus still holding that top spot. Who is going to be the first to knock Incubus out of that top spot? Is it going to be Randy Savage? Well, we're going to find out if he's on his way here in a second. Now, I asked you who Randy Savage should fight this week on the show, and we've got a lot of great suggestions. George the Animal Steele, Jimmy Snuka, Cannibal the Headhunter, Andre the Giant, Ted DiBiase, Dude Brohan from the 80s Mania Wrestling set, Endgame, and Buck Steele, and just see if Macho Man could withstand genocide. But you know what? There was 2 names on this list that I just read that got multiple votes. And those names were George the Animal Steele and Andre the Giant. So what I did was I fed those 2 names into a randomizer. It randomized it all up. It chose one. And ladies and gentlemen, let's head to the ring. Let's head to the ring for our match of the night. Randy Macho Man Savage taking on George the Animal Steele. That's right, Randy Macho Man Savage taking on George the Animal Steele, and Steele has Captain Lou Albano in his corner. Will that make any difference? I don't know. We are going to find out. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's roll for some initiative, and we will ring the bell. It looks like Macho Man Randy Savage has the initiative here. 3 quick jabs, 2 power. They both have equal power, so that will work. We'll roll on level 2 defense. George Steele reversing it on level 2, and he hits the double sledge for 2. Great reversal here. Macho Man is hurt. Can Steele capitalize? He does with a body slam. 3. Macho Man's rolling his pin. All right, the target is going to be 1. The roll is a 5. So George Steele inflicting damage right here at the very beginning. George Steele now rolling on level 3 offense. 2-arm choke lift, 3 choice H. So death jump. Let's see, Savage is a B, death jump, or a flying elbow drop. I don't think he's going to try this flying elbow drop. He's going to go for the death jump, although it would be funny. He would need a 5 to make it work. I don't think it's going to work. So Macho Man, we're going to roll on the death jump chart for him. The opponent tries a spectacular move and smashes into the referee. Oh no, the referee is down. We're going to roll 2 dice to see for how long. 8 moves. There you go. He's down for 8 moves. Then we're going to roll 1 die to see which wrestler rolls on level 3 offense. It is an odd roll, so that means Macho Man is still down. George Steele is going to roll on level 3 offense. Here's his first move, and he tosses Randy Savage out of the ring. Randy Savage crawls helplessly back in. George Steele rolls his second move here, which is the 2-arm choke, choice H. He's going to try the death jump again. And he blasts Randy Savage with a clothesline from the top rope, and he's going to roll on level 3 offense for his, and he throws him out of the ring again. That's his third move here as the referee is still down. Savage crawling helplessly back into the ring. George Steele rolling on level 3. He hits that choice H again, so he's going to go to the death jump. And Randy Savage rolling on the death jump. This is the 4th. The opponent comes off the top rope with a cross-body block, but you counter with a specialty move. Opponent rolls pin. Well, George Steele will roll his pin. He won't roll the pin because the ref is still out. We're only on 4 moves, and but he will get 1 fatigue token. And now Randy Savage will get the 5th move here. Vaulting neck snap 3 on poor George Steele. Down 3. Here's the 6th move. Pile driver 3, Savage just laying it on here, down 3. Here's the 7th move, death jump. Now Savage going to the top rope. He jumps off, the opponent blasts you with a flying clothesline from the top ropes. You're in trouble. Opponent rolls on level 3 offense. Here is the final move while the referee is down, and it is Savage throwing him outside the ring. And George Steele crawls helplessly back into the ring. And Randy Savage will roll on level 3 offense. Flying axe handle 3. Now this is where he can use this to add 1 to the opponent's thing, which he's going to do. So George Steele now at 2 fatigue and will roll on level 3 defense. Down 3, Savage tries the flying axe handle again. He's not going to do it outside the ring. Down 3, Randy Savage rolling again on level 3 offense. Pile driver 3, just hammering George Steele. Hurt 2, neckbreaker clothesline 3. George Steele rolling on defense. Down 3, leave the ring. George Steele bails out of the ring. The opponent comes out of the ring and tries to hit him with a steel chair. The referee comes out and warns Savage to stop, but he pushes the ref aside. So we're going to roll Savage's disqualification, which is a 5. Oh, and Savage is disqualified for shoving the referee, ladies and gentlemen. So George Steele wins the match. Randy Savage loses, but he still retains the championship. And what a match, ladies and gentlemen. Holy moly. Yeah, if only there was an Elizabeth card that could have saved him. I guess I could have used Sensational Sherry, but Randy Savage is still your champion. George Steele wins the match, though. Will George Steele challenge? Next week, should we have some sort of steel cage encounter between these two? I don't know. I think maybe we should. You let me know in the comments below. Should Steele get his rematch for the championship, or should Savage face a new opponent? Let me know in the comments, and I will bow to your wishes, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. That is the match of the show. Now we move on to the question of the show. And last week's question of the show was, do you use the choice chart when you are playing matches? And we got a lot of great answers here. Joe says, as for the question of the week, I do use the choice chart. I like the additional element of chance it brings to matches. Durandus says, I use the choice chart most of the time. They pop up during a match. Shane says, I do use the choice chart. Mark says, I use the choices chart, but am trailing not using the out of the ring and death jump charts if followed by a C. So I think he means trying out not using out of the ring and death jump if it's followed by a C. Todd says, when it comes to playing solo, I have a choice chart house rule. I roll the 2 dice and choose the best of the successful moves. If both moves fail, then the opponent rolls level 2 offense. It plays into my strategy of not having to make any decisions myself while simming a match. When playing against others, I like using the choice chart in the standard manner. Scotty Boy says, for choice charts, yes, I use them. I'm a stickler for game rules and I never deviate. I'm with you there, Scotty Boy. And Mark says, if I use it, but if it makes sense for the Legends, I use it if it makes sense for the Legends card and use it for Champions of the Galaxy and Indies. So there you go. That is some great responses there about using the choice chart. Now, the question of the week for this week, I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to explain why I'm asking this question. And the question is, how do you keep track of the feuds in your Fed? Do you just remember them in your head? Do you write them in a notebook? Do you type them out on the computer? I would love to know, and here is why. I was looking back at my Legends of Wrestling results, and I was looking back at year 1, and Harley Race was the #1 contender, and he got injured by Ted DiBiase and Virgil, and he was out for 8 cards. And when he came back, by the time he came back, I had totally forgotten that the reason he was out was because DiBiase had injured him. And I just brought him back as if nothing had happened, and he didn't go after DiBiase, and I was just kicking myself because I was like, so stupid. I should have kept track of this. So what I've been thinking of, and I've been working on this actually for a couple years just because I don't think it's quite right yet, and that's why I'm asking you for your input, is to create a feud tracker. And basically what this is a sheet of paper that has little lines, different lines with different boxes in it, and you would have one sheet for each wrestler. So each wrestler in your Fed would get their own feud tracker sheet, so you could track their feuds, on these sheets. And so it would have the wrestler name, the Fed that they are in, and then it would have the start date of the feud. What date did this feud start? Who a feud is against, the reason the feud started. So, so-and-so attacked somebody, they cheated during a match, whatever it is. What match they had, like the next match in the feud, who was, in the match. This will be explained better in a second because I actually have a chart that's kind of filled out. So what match was wrestled? What was the result of that match? And then ultimately, when was the feud finished? So I have a sample here. If you're watching on the audio version, you can pop over to YouTube to check this out, but I'm going to try and explain this. So here is my feud tracker sheet for Andre the Giant in my Golden State Wrestling Fed. So his opponent was the whole Heenan family. So everyone Bobby Heenan managed. The reason the feud started was because he came out to help Jimmy Snuka when the Heenan family was beating on Snuka. So then I have the start. When did the feud start? And it started on card 58. And so then there's a next little slot that says card. So I put 58 again because that's the card. And in the match, who was he wrestling in the match? And he was wrestling King Kong Bundy. What was the result of that match? He won that match by pinfall. And then on the next line, I have card 59. He had a match against Mr. Perfect because it's all still part of this feud. He won the match via pin. New line. Card 61, he teamed with Snuka and the One Man Gang versus Mr. Perfect, Harley Race, and King Kong Bundy. What was the result of that match? He won via disqualification. Card 63, he wrestled Perfect and Heenan in a handicap match. I should have written handicap match in there. And what was the result? He won by DQ. And then card 66, he fought a handicap match in a steel cage versus Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan, and he won that match for via pinfall. And so then I put in the end column that this feud ended on card 66. Now, the feud could continue from there. It could continue forever. So my question to you is, when you track feuds, how do you do it? And what do you track when you're tracking the feuds? Just because I would love to massage this a little bit more and then release this as a free PDF that people could download, people can test out and use on their own. You know what? In fact, I'll even put this version out in the show notes for this episode so you can download it, try it out, and give me your feedback, because I would love to know. And as I said, I've been working on this seriously for like 5 years. And I just I want to get it done because I want to use it, because I keep forgetting about feuds. I go, oh yeah, they're supposed to be in a feud. So as we wrap up here, I want to talk about what's going on elsewhere on the YouTube channel. We've got a lot of fun stuff. My 80s Mania Wrestling Fed just had its 3rd online card. You can go check that out. My Tournament of Legends project, I have now used the results of the Tournament of Legends, turned them into its own online Fed. So this will be a Fed that I'm playing exclusively on Champions of the Galaxy Online, COTG Online. And so you can check out Hollywood Elite Wrestling card number 26. The main event is Vader versus Lou Thesz in a steel cage. It was quite a match. And then a new thing I've started here on the channel called Muscle Monday. You remember those little muscle figures, those little pink muscle figures? Well, I have a new show that will come out almost every Monday where I talk about muscle figures and muscle-related figures. So the first episode was about Kaiju Big Battle Keshi figures, which were sort of muscle-like figures, and it was the first set of those. So definitely go check that out. And then, of course, my series looking at LJN WWF Wrestling Superstars figures, Bring Home the Action number 6, Bring Home All the Action number 6, is features the Tito Santana figure. All this and much more on the channel, so please check it out. Now, we're right in the middle of my giveaway for the Nacho Barrera card here, and I kind of tweaked the entry requirements a little bit, so please listen up. I had to do this just because it'll make it easier. And then I know that people who win this really want to win it instead of sending it to somebody who doesn't necessarily care about the card. To enter the giveaway for a Nacho Barrera card, simply comment the word Nacho on any of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast videos on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/GWF Promoter. The winner will be randomly selected from all channel subscribers and announced on the April 9th episode of the show. So I'm giving you one more week here. I do want to say that this giveaway is not affiliated with Filsinger Games. It is a Filsinger Games card, but this is my card that I'm giving away, and it is for a physical copy of the card. I can't help you at all with getting a digital version of the card. So there you go. If you want to enter the podcast, just comment. Or if you want to enter the giveaway, just comment the word Nacho on any of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast videos at youtube.com/GWF Promoter, and you will be entered to win. Absolutely free, absolutely open to absolutely everybody. Well, that is going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that there is now an audio version of this show? It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Filsinger Games in your favorite audio store, and it should pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, please leave it in the comments. I see that Mark is asking a question about the managers, so maybe we'll cover that next time. That's a great question. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. If you would like to check out my personal Legends and Champions of the Galaxy Feds, you can do so at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. This episode is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. Big thanks to James, Mr. Baseman, Jason, PDSI, Dale, Mark, After Further Review with Steve Tower. Who else is here? Mark Ferguson, Thomas Morgan, thanks for dropping by. Mark Markham, thanks for dropping in. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. I will talk to you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the